to be that hyper carry in team fights and break through the health bar of the Cassante. And without a consistent damage dealer in the mid lane, and with Ashe Seraphine here, you're going to be reliant as Dplus at setting up big charm combos. You have the ball carrier here in the Jarvan.
Pretty oppressive, but you're also very, very safe there towards the bottom side. So no real fumbles just yet, as the Prowling Projectile is going to go a little bit wide here. Carrier still trying to get his eye in onto that one. Great beat drop is going to come on through there as the heals come down, as Carrier's just dead. There is first blood over to Smash. He gets exhausted from the grave.
Career learns.
FaZe is now alone.
So you stop that detach, or attach rather.
Any sort of dive attempt. Ona going to be able to take some crab towards his top side of the map. And we've got some grubs that are up and available as well. No one really taking a bite out of them just yet.
I mean, even though it's been perma-prio, no flash.
Yeah, Emperor's Divide comes down. Now Ono looking to make his way in. There is a Shockwave to try and buy some space, but I mean, there is a Rumble there.
Yeah, and he's got TP, so he can just go straight back to the top lane after this back too, and should be able to catch this wave. Doran is making plays on both sides. He's going to get this one, but
idea of going for it.
Yeah, I mean, they just really can't. I think with the situation here for T1, the amount of damage they did in that initial salvo, Lusa taking so much means that they just can't contest, and if they try to, they might be setting up that Zeri moment you were discussing earlier.
Yeah.
Walking into that, even in this early game, Zeri's skirmish power is really powerful. Speaking of!
Yep, Zeri looking for the angle as the cleanse comes out. It flashes the arrow gorgeously, and the encore doesn't quite work out. Prowling Projectile is going to miss, though, and the flash out from Korea will keep him alive, but now it is clean up Xin Zhao time, and in he goes, picks up a swift double with the 3 Talon Strike. He had a Talon Strike left over after that one.
Pretty nasty stuff here in the bottom lane. Dplus, they thought, okay, well, we're going to give up the dragon, but maybe we'll be able to get a little bit more in the lane. And these angles for FaZe, he was famous for it when he was on Gen.G on the pick. And he's certainly showcasing why here again, as Doran does not have flash.
He doesn't. And he also probably doesn't have his life either, as Shiu comes on over. That's a dissonance to complete the kill, and Ona not quite here in time. A little bit of an overstep. I'd say overstep. He is in his own jungle.
The encore isn't enough. Is Showmaker just going to die as well?
We getting that certification
I got my paper out. I got my paper out.
I'm a little bit worried about this one, as now Smash looking to try and get some arrows into Faker here, who's in a little bit of trouble. Lucid comes on over. There's a great Crescent Guard, but I think Faker is still in a lot of trouble. Lucid going to be the one to pick up the kill. Korea thankfully stopped auto-attacking to make sure that he doesn't take that one. But this is the big problem, is that Yuumi pairs very well with the Xin Zhao at the same time, so you can really empower Ona, who is very strong in his own right.
That's a flanking TP.
That's a big old flanking TP, and Showmaker took a little while to get there as the arrow is going to connect. There's the flag and drag. Encore connects as well. That is all the CC, but Ona didn't get hit by any of it, so the Ashe is just dead. Career down as well, and if you hadn't written it already, Wolf, I think it's time to write the certification note now. I've got my crayons ready.
It's signed. It's already been sent in. Kespa is notarizing it as we speak. I think this one is a Zeri game for the books, to be sure. One of the biggest FaZe ones so far of the year.
Like, it's kind of insane. So FaZe now is just running amok on the map, and maybe you're exactly right. Maybe FaZe is just the engage. That's all right. There is an engage from Shiu as well, looking for an angle onto Doran. He is just dancing on the equalizer, though, as the Flame Spitter comes on down as well. Flash out there from Doran, and the flash from Shiu is not going to work. It's a solo kill, as now Showmaker looking to try and come on through here. The arrow is not going to quite connect, as there is still a shockwave here. Showmaker still trying to find it. Another flag and drag comes down, but the final chapter is still there. Ulti from FaZe. And look at this. It's basically 1 versus 2. Sorry, 1 versus 3, because it's a cat. It's kind of half a champion, but still they're standing their ground.
I mean, this is absolutely crazy here. He does not care. Showmaker eventually gets the kill onto Doran there on the top side without using his flash, without using his shockwave. So that's the only piece of good news here for Dplus. But it's Herald just going to drop down here and take this mid turret out at 18 minutes. T1 swimming in gold, and all of it on their major carry here in FaZe. A second charge here will give even further plate gold over to this bottom duo, and they'll get the whole damn turret, Atlas.
Oh, dear.
Okay, looks like not quite. Not quite. Gets like 3/4 of his health bar. He just TP'd to the top lane. Showmaker's probably not too happy about that either. As another turret goes down. And I was going to say before we got into that replay, like I kind of thought we were going to see this really hype game where FaZe has to make all these crazy outplays. He's already made a few good plays, right? But I thought it was going to be Smash versus FaZe on display, all the CC, all the setup for Dplus. Like, how does FaZe outplay this? Nice try, Jarvan. He just 100 zeros him with the Yuumi on his back and takes no damage because he's got a huge shield as well.
And Owner is just chasing Lucid out of his own jungle here. You can see Showmaker now getting closed in on his FaZe. He really wants to kill an Orianna, and he might just be able to do so as Owner with the Crescent Guard does come on down, but Korea is there. Arrow is going to hit his own teammate, but there's the knock-up onto Owner. He's put inside the little pen here. That's very cute. Great encore, but the cleanse is there for FaZe, who's just going to end Smash before he could do anything. Oh, God, it's one of these games, isn't it? As finally, the Zeri will go down, but not before picking up 3, 2 of which he grabs the kill credit for, and DK just reeling after that. It's almost a 5,000 gold lead, and I was wondering how the engages were going to work. I guess just walk at them is kind of the way here. Well, the Sand Soldier is going to disappear.
R button pressed on with Q and W as well, you know. All 3 of those buttons get pressed on FaZe, and there's a flag on him. Maybe you kill this guy.
Well, looking for an arrow onto Faker. They will be able to find it. Shockwave is there for Showmaker, and he does press that button. Cataclysm comes down, but it doesn't stop Faker from getting out. His flash does come on through. There's the flash over the wall, and there is the Jarvan picking up the kill. The rest of T1 looking to come on in here, though, as the teleport from Doran does get him up, but the teleport out from Showmaker will allow him to escape, as now FaZe and Carrier looking for the angle. Extendo beam, not quite going to find Lucid, but I think this Jarvan is still going to die.
He's got exhaust.
Turret here. Xiu does stand beside him, but Owner's going to be able to finish that one off. And now Xiu might be in a little bit of strife as well. Prowling projectile doesn't quite work, as now the Crescent Guard. Owner is going to be taken down, but immediately dead. This FaZe guy just doing so much damage, as Xiu really wants to find it. There's the Q to finish him off, and now Doran comes in. He's got the damage. Showmaker now gets missed by the harpoon, though, and so now Doran could be in a little bit of trouble. Carrier trying to make sure that he's as scary as FaZe, but it looks a little different here, as Doran is going to get taken out. DK finally finding an angle in this game.
Yeah, that was definitely a moment where,
I mean, Doran is actually a real tank. And so it is more difficult for FaZe to kill him, at least, as we got another fight going on here, as at least DK are able to take a dragon. Let's see whether they can actually keep themselves alive, though, because FaZe has a kitty cat, and he's not afraid to use it. Korea now completely separated from the rest of his team, does find an encore onto Faker, but now FaZe wants to skate his way in, and just an extendo beam is going to be enough to take down this Seraphine. So a little bit unfortunate positioning there for Korea, and he's just going to fall. And now with 1 dead,
or just go straight to it, I suppose.
I guess
T1, you know. Yeah. They have great turn here, right? When they do have Emperor's Divide, so there's that.
Well, Xiu's not going to be too worried about that one. Is now looking for an angle towards Owner as they go for the turn. There's a shockwave, but it's only onto the Xin Zhao. Now Lucid in a lot of trouble. Xiu dives forward, is now FaZe possibly separated, or never mind, just in range to kill everyone. Owner somehow lives, and that is just 2 freebies here, as DK are just going to have to sacrifice the Baron now.
FaZe is making a statement about his gameplay. I think he's making a statement about the state of AD carries in this meta. And with a Yuumi on his back, he just says, well, if you guys want to come to Baron, so be it.
Yeah. Oh, man. He's going to take down this turret very comfortably. 4 items now completed. His Mortal Reminder is done, as now Faker could be in a little bit of trouble. The Bash Bros moving on over, but Lucid decides he doesn't really feel like it. And they need to get to this bottom lane, otherwise they may just lose the game.
Ace has cleanse, so how do you kill him?
I mean, there's a Mikhail's there as well. He's got 2 cleanses.
Yeah. How do you kill him? Let's see if Dplus can solve the riddle.
Sometimes, you know, there's these riddles that seem impossible, but there is often a way.
Is it a trick question?
I just never know them.
Is it a trick question, maybe?
Well, Arrow is going to connect onto Faker once again.
Kill the other one.
Does find a little bit of an angle. Can go all out here as well as they pull Faker back. But he goes golden, and now FaZe has made his way in. Emperor's Divide hits the air as Faker is going to get taken down by the volley. And now FaZe is slowed up. Takes a lot of damage there at the same time as Lucid looking to keep himself alive. Korea almost dies as now FaZe puts down the ulti. Doran gets in there with a flamethrower, but diving this turret is a little bit dangerous. Did FaZe take damage before us? Never mind. The arrows do come on through, and Lucid gets through the base gate, and now without FaZe, T1 should not be able to keep pushing forward. Owner and Doran there with their little kitty cat in tow are just going to have to get out.
For Infernal Soul with his composition.
Yep, and there's a teleport so Faker can get all of his health bar back and make his way back down again. Finally, the IE is done here for Smash, but man, I mean, if they had have got that kill, then it could have been...
Him getting arrowed has been kind of the best thing for T1.
Yeah, I mean, that's absorb the engage, and then that's the engage, you know?
Yeah, I suppose that's how it's going to work when you have this much map control as T1. As Pays is engaged.
They look for it. There's the shockwave. They're going to try and blow him up as he pops down the ulti, and Lucid just doesn't have it. Finally, Pays is going to go down, and Lucid will survive. Now, Shiu not dancing on the equalizer this time, but not going to hit the Q either, as he's looking to try and take down Doran, putting that Iceborne Gauntlet to good use, and there it is. Solo Bolo in the bottom lane.
Faker.
And the Shiu Zante's coming up big.
Yeah, Faker is playing a bit aggressively down here towards this inner, and it looks like he has enough friends to get out. They're not going to be able to... that isn't necessarily the case, but with everyone else getting so large in the burst and all of the engage tools we talked about,
I mean, the problem is there's just no CC on T1's side,
they
right?
can't lock people down, so Pays has to survive till the end of the fight.
Unless someone just overextends. Never mind, Faker is hit by an arrow once again, and will be able to escape. Never you mind. Shiu now looking for the angle, though, as Pays just dashes out of the way. Doran coming on forward, and is this the DK's engage is our engage type engage?
The Seraphine
T1
also has the Diadem completed and Moonstone Renewer, and I mean, Smash is ready to fight. He's ready to almost go toe-to-toe with Pays if they have the setup, if they have the CC.
Oh, they are still looking for it here. The equalizer is fantastic. Shiu able to soak it, though, as he goes all out, looking for the angle. There is the golden flamethrower, as Doran will try to help take down Shiu, and they will be able to do it. And now Pays finds his angle. Immediate double kill as he gets revenge on the bottom lane, and Showmaker is one dash away from dead. The little zaps onto the minions, not going to be quite enough there, though, so at least the Orianna can pirouette her way out of there, but I think they're going to be pirouetting their way out of this game as T1, they find the angle, and they will take down Dplus here in game one.
Get a little bit impatient there, and the equalizer from Doran gives them enough space, and that is the end of it.
Yep. T1 with a composition that I was a little bit curious about.
But for a moment, it felt like maybe Pays was going to be killable. Maybe if they had the right tools, if the Showmaker ult hits just one time at the right moment, Smash and clean up, they get map control, they get Baron, maybe they could win the game. But in that final moment, Doran just said, all right, well, you guys went one step too far. Equalizer's down. You have so much pick setup here for him. He has a Karma to get shields. Lane Prio is going to be yours on the top side. You have bottom side Prio with the Yunara Karma. That's always going to have push. Unless some crazy hooks come through from Career, we see that turn around. Compare the two of them. What I mean is, this lead isn't a huge one. Is Carrier?
Yeah, is going to be face tanking here, and down he will go. Lucid able to pick up first blood. True Shot Barrage helping out.
There was a ward in the river.
And so that is going to be the end of that.
Okay, now an all-in angle here for Pays, a level down.
Yeah. Smash, not quite finding it here, as the Mystic shots are difficult to land when Pays is running extraordinarily quickly. Ghost and ulti going to be helping him out there. The flash forward from Showmaker, though, that actually catches Jonas Strong off guard, and that's another kill for Lucid. This time the hook is going to connect, but there was no one else there. And so Owner is going to turn that into an engage for himself, but only has Carrier backing him up. Should be able to take the Drake, though.
They get the Dragon here, but this is just Dplus playing very proactively in the early game and punishing T1 quite heavily.
And Lucid is the one that's the benefactor, right? We were asking him,
And Lucid is on the top side of the map. I don't know if they make something of this, you might be able to.
Oh dear, Lucid going to be able to at least stop him from backing out of the way, but we know that there's no one coming. There's no teleport on this team, nothing at all, and so that is just going to be an easy one picked up here by the DK jungler. Make that 3-0 here for the Lee Sin. This Pays doesn't have his Ghost back available just yet, but also hasn't had to use his flash at all this game. So feeling pretty comfortable on this Yunara. A looming threat, you could say, as that Realm Warp was optimistic at best, and Showmaker will be going down as T1 pick up their first kill of the game. That's a max range hook. Very nicely done there, as Carrier's burning down. Takes the Blitzcrank for a walk, though, and he will get snared. And Korea looking a little worse for wear, but otherwise is going to be all right.
With the rise here on the side of Dplus and this relatively safe Ezreal, they have a lot of... Here comes the Taliyah wall.
Yeah. T1 looking for an angle towards Korea, and there's the flash from Ona. Gets the flash out of Korea, but he's a little bit late on that one. Seismic Shove going to push him back, and even through the ulti, he is very, very dead. And Faker just decided that Korea was gone.
Yeah. And T1 have kind of decided they want to start using their globals.
Well, Lucid has also decided that he wants to kick Doran into a Scion. That was beautifully played. Kerry is going to be there, and everyone else is turning up as well. Lucid will break the tether and then safeguards away. Going to be able to take them on a merry jaunt through the jungle. As Showmaker getting some plates on the other side. Let's see whether Lucid can actually execute himself. He might actually be at, never mind. Faker is able to get it, and there's even an assist over for Carrier.
I was just starting the conversation about scaling his TP here from Doran.
Yeah, it's going to bring him towards his bottom side of the map. He's spotted on that ward as Korea makes his way down. Does get the knock-up, but there's Carrier here as well, so Korea's just really dead.
Ezreal can avoid a lot of the engage, but it's a little bit tougher for Ryze. And if Ryze dies, then Paze just doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about anyone, and he will kill anyone.
Yeah.
If he gets hooked by Career, he's like, I will kill Career.
Carrier not as worried about a hook that is now on cooldown.
Pantheon ult.
Yeah, we have Chemtech Soul, as there is the ulti out of Ona, like you were talking about. They just decide to kill Smash. This is kind of what we were talking about, as the eye, I think, is not going to get picked up. It's a double here for Paze, as Lucid going to be able to take the Ryze exit. But I don't think that's really what they wanted, because now Paze is on the board, and this is the problem that they had in the last game.
Yeah, very similar story here, and now they're looking for more.
Yeah, Owner is going to be able to get the stun. Seismic Shove does go wide, though, as Showmaker still getting a fair bit of work done here. Lucid goes in, and then tries to go out, but explodes, tethered up there by Carrier. And Showmaker once again sidesteps, but straight into a spear, and DK have just fallen apart.
Yeah, it was already a bit rough.
Oh, Showmaker is able to get the phase rush now, so should be able to catch up to Faker momentarily. Let's see whether he gets in range, as no flash.
Lucid's here.
Yeah, Lucid is going to try and make something happen. Seismic Shove now on cooldown, as there's the mini stun into the wall, and Lucid is able to lock down that kill. So there's a little bit back here for DK.
A little bit of redemption, yeah. All right, feeling better about this one. This also could be a freebie.
Yeah, the flash in from Doran as he looks to just eviscerate Showmaker, and that absolutely works, as now Smash tries to arcane shift himself out of the way, and there is the knock-up onto Paze. In the meantime, though, as Lucid outplays, finds the angle onto Doran, and the gank in the mid lane does not quite work out. So maybe we were signing the obituary for DK a little early.
I don't know why. I mean, Lucid is also going to die slowly again, it looks like. Don't think he'll be able to get the execute, but
I think he will, because I don't think he's been touched for quite some time.
I just don't know if he gets there in time.
Yeah, he needs to die ASAP. As Paze, let's see whether he hits him with something. No, Slurkle doesn't land, and Lucid is going to dictate his own fate here. Danny will go to a minion.
It's annoyed because it doesn't do damage to Scion.
I just don't like it.
But Showmaker may be dead again.
Yeah, Showmaker doesn't like it either, as he is just really dead. Owner going to be able to pick that one up with the help of Doran, and so
doesn't have Realm Orb, and T1 really can do no wrong on this Dragon setup. Doran also getting his TP back right now, completes his mana.
Yeah, Korea, unfortunately, not going to quite find that hook, as, oh god, the Arc of Ruin is just too scary, and Korea punished immediately. As soon as that hook's on cooldown, he is just not really able to do much of anything at all, as Paze still has a bit of ulti running, as still fair bit back, as Showmaker is doing a bunch of work, but Lucid just going to get shut down by Doran, and they're going to look for even more. Showmaker under the turret is not able to survive, and the outer will fall at the same time. In the meantime, Shiyu and Faker just fighting towards the bottom side, and
forget Dragon!
Yeah, they thought about a soul point, but then they were like, purple?
Yeah. And that is exactly what they're going to go for. With the Chemtech Soul, they get the Empowered Honey Fruit just to make it even easier to take this one down.
There you go.
And Dplus. Okay, this is optimistic.
Yep.
And you know what?
Let's see whether he can hit these Mystic Shots, as the Seismic Shove does connect. Korea misses the hook.
Showmaker is dying on repeat in this game. Couldn't show up because he didn't have TP.
Oh, there's the kick flash as Faker out of position potentially, but does just shove Lucid back. And now Owner's going to turn up. There's a teleport in from Doran as well. Lucid immediately punished as a hook is going to connect, and the Scion is at least able to get some work done here towards Doran, but he gets a big old shield. We're going to check out a replay for a moment, but now we are back to watching Shiyu die. We couldn't actually show on camera what had just happened, and so therefore we just panned away.
Censored!
Yep, censored 100%, and I appreciate it a lot.
As Carrier does not have Ardent Censor in this game, but...
I thought that was what did it.
It's not in this case. He's got a pretty similar KDA to his Yumi game last game, and this game state starts to feel pretty similar as well. A little bit more owner focused this time around, as he had a slow start, as you pointed out, but
It certainly is. As we're going to have a look at that replay. Meanwhile, in live, Lucid is dying, and Doran is just going to do some flips and land on his head.
Production.
We'll go the Lee Sin.
They really just want to shelter Dplus fans today, and I think it's maybe warranted.
Oh, stationary target. There we go. Never mind. He's just dead. Sometimes you hit the hook and it's not exactly what you want to see. Shiu's on the wrong side of the wall. Faker also just going to come on in there and eviscerate Smash. Ona turns up as well as Showmaker is just kept out with that Aegis. And Shiu is a zombie, but not for very long. This game is donezo, ladies and gentlemen. T1 will just roll over the top of DK here in game number 2. It was a great start, especially by Lucid. But then we felt it, that back-breaking moment. And then it all fell apart. That house of cards just flat on the floor.
I feel robbed. I thought...
Stop going for Faker because they realized that the Baron was up. So
okay, they are learning.
That is a good idea.
I think it might have been too slow, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be able to get over there, as the Q's going to miss some Lucid, and he is just going to be taken for a walk. So there is just a free Baron. And now the Weaver's Wall from Faker as he looks to try and start this fight off. Korea taking a lot of damage as he gets a big old shield. There's a flash out from Faker, though. True Shot Barrage is decent as Showmaker is stunned up. The hook is going to connect onto Ona, but he survives, and Doran dives into the backline and just destroys them. What was that damage? The Scion is able to punish him, but this is game over, ladies and gentlemen. Pei's able to finish off the Scion, and that'll be the ace, and T1 will march up the mid lane.
It's not quite a record-breaking pace here for T1, but this game certainly felt over a long time ago, and it's 2 demoralizing losses back-to-back here for Dplus as T1 recover fast from their loss against BNK and now put themselves 1 win away from going to Hong Kong, trying to fight their way to face old rivals in Gen.G.
Yeah, Korea almost dies on his fountain, but will be spared that fate.
He picked the Ezreal, but he was playing into a Karma lane, didn't have any agency this game. His high skill-stealing champ of the Ezreal gets nothing done here, and maybe they have to hope for like a Lucian draft. It was a successful pick in a grand finals, and then
I seem to remember it being Ona's Xin Zhao, but I might be entirely wrong.
It was a Xin Zhao. I just don't remember. I don't know why I'm thinking of Peanut, but there's a lot of...
Drake, though, is very tanky.
Yeah, there's a lot of burst damage on both sides as Doran.
Yeah, there's the gate, as we're going to need to throw out the Ragnarok. Let's see whether this kill can actually come through. The undertow, not enough, and first blood goes to Doran with the help of Faker.
And there's just no quick response here from Dplus. Like, they have an Ahri that's just going to get plates and trade. Like, what do you do as Shiu when you see Doran's like, got his Fury ready for an empowered W, and Faker's missing?
Well, in the meantime, Red White Gun's here for Pei's, and Smash is going to have to try and cull him down. There's the bubble that connects, but it's just last hit by the Moonlight Vigil. And Pei's is on the board. Showmaker can try and take him off that board, though, as point blank, the charm will connect, and down will go the Aphelios. So, bit of extra movement speed for the Ahri, but Carrier will survive. Doesn't have a lot of Severum left, but I think he'll be okay with that. As Ona will be able to help clear out some vision. First Drake still hasn't gone down. As Lucid looking to dash around this fight. Ona gets a lot of damage taken, and the ulti follows him. Smashed to the ground by Lucid. Once again, having a good time here in this game number 2 in the early game, and they might be able to turn that into a dragon.
I was a bit greedy there from the side of T1, especially from Owner. And that's just a Kha'Zix now on the dragon, and it's still tanky, but they regain control of the bottom lane, and Owner's going to press Q, and that dragon health bar is going to go down.
Yeah,
and
it's on a fresh back as well. Like, he comes back with more items, isolates the dragon, and we'll be able to take that one down. So once again, it is first Drake going over to T1.
It's like 1 step forward, 2 steps back here for Dplus, and Faker has so much control over this mid lane now. Top side obviously massively favoring Doran at this stage. It's been the shot calling for T1 that has been what they've been known for forever, as Doran is going to look to stop it back and maybe look for more.
Yeah, as Ragnarok actually going to be used here. Let's see whether Doran actually wins out on this fight, as into the brush he goes. There's the flash to follow. Will he have it? No, he does not. Doran just ends the Viking, and down he falls once again. And Pei's does have both of his still available, so they do need to be a little careful of that. But Faker is now back in the mid lane.
On a good angle here, and he has flash. They can try to make this work.
Let's see whether it does work out, as the bubble is going to connect. That means that the public execution comes down. Wild Growth is fantastic, as Carrier will be able able to take one back as now Lucid looking for it on a pace. He has red-white, but it is not enough. The Ambessa will reign supreme as Owner just finds the angle, and he's looking to taste even more fear as Lucid dashes, and the smite comes down to make sure that it's Pays that grabs the kill.
Oh boy, that was Lucid's smite there at the end. Pays gets the kill. I don't know about tussling with this Renekton, especially when he gets his empowered W on you before you can ult.
Oh, Carrier gonna get culled momentarily.
I don't know if he really minds it.
Nope. He probably minds the 4 people that were bearing down upon him.
This might just be a free dragon here. TP.
Yeah, Showmaker does have his teleport available as well, as they do steal away the dragon, so that's straight number 2 going on over to Dplus, as there's the charm connecting. Great wild growth to keep Doran alive for even longer, and he'll cut up Smash! He'll finally go down, but the damage is being done as Lucid off on the backline. The slow is fantastic from that undertow to make sure the disengage comes through, and it's actually Dplus that come out ahead.
They do come out ahead.
I mean, for now.
It looks pretty scary. It still looks scary here.
Yep, Lucid, wild cards connecting there as he's looking to try and dash his way out. Faker doesn't quite have another gold card just yet, as the wild cards are not going to quite land. And nicely done there from Lucid to survive. As Doran is just having the best time on this Crocodile.
We talked about, or I briefly mentioned, let's say, Renekton seems to be the biggest benefactor of role quests in terms of the top lane in the meta, right? I'm not saying that, like, you know, a Camille could be worse than Renekton if she is in a similar game state, but of meta top laners, he just gets so huge, and he's getting even larger here now in this game, taking this whole turret down. Yeah, he is a full level, and almost a level and a half ahead of Xiu in this game, and can just run on top of either carry, press W, and say,
you're going to get checked every time. I just don't think the Olaf is going to really do too much of anything, and that's why I kind of thought the Jax felt like a better choice.
Smash
even if you're 0-3, you still have a counter-strike.
Smash has no flash, Doran has flash. That's a problem.
Well, Doran does have a lot of money on the table for Dplus if they kill him, so I guess there's that.
T1 are just keeping Smash away with Renekton alone as they look to force this dragon.
Yeah, Showmaker moving forward here as well. It's another steal from Lucid. Nicely done there. Ona not quite able to find the angle. Xiu teleports in real late.
This is pretty good for Dplus. Let's see if they can also get this charge.
Well, of T1 around that corner, and Lucid gets himself out of there. The charm just misses, though, as there's the Destiny. Wild Growth's fantastic as Showmaker does make his way out, and now Lucid looking to try and cut down this Crocodile Smash on a flank angle. Not sure about that one, as Faker gets in. Good cleanse. Moonlight Vigil comes down, though, and they're not quite able to secure the kills. T1 wanting to try and chase them down. Lucid's on a ward and is just going to be backing. There's the ulti. Good dash, as Doran benefits from that ward over the wall.
Successful heist, I suppose you could say here for Dplus. They do not lose the Ambessa nor anyone else on the Herald attempt. It doesn't hit the turret either, but that's for the better.
Moving into his jungle.
Showmaker playing respectfully. Here's the Destiny.
Yeah, Ona with that ulti. And Lucid unable to actually follow him over that wall. The gate moved towards the top side of the map, I believe. Actually, no, just gets him out of there. He was already up there. She was on the bottom side.
So he takes the turret and pieces out, and they don't make an overextension. They don't make a mistake. He'll grab rapid fire cannon, but Xiu will trade this for a turret on the bottom side.
This 0-3 Olaf is not, you know, it's not the worst.
I am starting to feel like T1 are going to have to make a really aggressive call. I thought that what they were trying to do, because they had red-white with Pays, was bait Dplus into this extended skirmish where they could win the fight and grab Baron, but Dplus just didn't fall for it. They grouped, but they didn't overextend. Lucid was hanging out on the edge going, I see what you guys are trying to do. And yes, Faker is able to get the turret and then ult away, but
Ona just takes half of his health bar, and then they will back away. But T1 are like, wait, but we're here, guys. We should probably do the Baron.
He does have his teleport now, and I think he's going to have to use it.
Yep, Showmaker looks for the Orb of Deception as now Smash gets a lot of damage onto Doran. This Lucian is very scary as Lucid. Can you do it again? That's the question. The answer is absolutely not. He's not even able to get into the pit. As now T1, can you escape? As Doran gets in there with them, and now the Olaf thinks that it's his time to shine. Goes in, immediately goes out. As now Pays gets on forward. That's the public execution, and Faker gets smashed down to the ground. Smash now looking for an angle himself as over the wall he goes. But it looks like just one for the moment as T1, they are walking the wrong direction. Trying to keep their Baron alive as Lucid, the only one without fear by the looks of things. Pace is at full health and Lucid's just dead. There is the Dominus, but the bubble is going to be good, and Showmaker finds the angle to shut down T1.
It's a bit of a disaster here for T1. They got a lot of kills at least, or they got the kill there on the end. It's a lot of kills for Dplus despite losing the Baron. And this is so much gold injected, but T1 did take the Baron off the map. Defending this turret here and side lanes though is where the next port of call is going to be here. Like, how much damage can Dplus get?
Collector something. What's that serrated Dirk turning into? Oh, unless it's going to be a Serpent's Fang. Serpent's Fang would be kind of sick.
It's actually pretty solid here.
I would really like that. That would be one that would make me feel okay. As the Drake has now spawned, Showmaker on a flank angle, trying to look for a way in. As the culling really softening. The charm connects onto Pace somehow. He goes down exceptionally low. They get the wild growth out of Carrier and the heal. My God, that was absurd from Showmaker. He does not want to go home today. And he's now looking for even more. Dash Cannon and the Spirit Rush. And all the while, Lucid is getting an Infernal Soul. And what did we say about Olaf? He stat checks you. Yeah. Do you know what you get from an Infernal Soul?
A lot of stacks.
Yeah, you get some stats, baby. So maybe Shiyu can actually find some relevance in this game.
I mean, he's started to be quite relevant.
He almost has the lead, actually.
Yeah, no, T1 just don't have the ability to kill this Ahri in sides to pinch when Dplus play this far up and have this much control over the map. Like, this comp really requires you to be able to 1-3-1 and pinch people with this Twisted Fate, but when Dplus have this much oppressive control, if you try to go in as Faker, they'll just turn on you and kill you. As Doran is pushing a big wave bottom side, they're going to go for a TP flank.
I know about that one. That one's dangerous. They really warn you about that if you ever go to the Northern Territory.
They get the turret. They finally get that mid turret.
Where is this? Where is this crocodile? It is lurking. Over he goes. Finds Lucid, but he gets Mikhail's. And T1, they cannot actually get on top of Dplus.
They got the turret. That's all they're going to get, it looks like here. They're going to be able to do this very quickly, and there's just no answer for T1, and there's no one inside. T1 just have to clean up these waves, and Dplus have such an insane control over this game now. They will actually take a gold lead for the first time in forever as well after this Baron. You have to imagine T1 just sitting back and clearing waves. Paze is level 16, and yes, this does feel very reminiscent to the KT game.
Level 20 Olaf. Well, we'll see whether that is going to be the trade, as right now Smash is just kind of hitting the turret. There's 5 seconds until the Elder is up and available, and it looks like a back is going to get channeled here by T1, and this is DK calling their bluff. Do you think all of his decks are Riftbound decks now?
Probably.
It might be actually a thing. All right, here we go. Out comes Owner, kind of regrets the decision, as now Shiyu is on the side, but does have the rest of the teammates coming on over as Faker is able to sidestep. Great charm, max range, and they're looking to try and turn it. Remember, he doesn't have the Zonyas. Oh my God, Paze! What was that? He just explodes, and T1, they will not go quietly into this good night. They will go quite loudly, and now their Nexus is going to explode.
All right, Dplus pull it off. In the end, better macro. They push T1 into such an uncomfortable position. They have to make an all-in play. It doesn't work. Paze tries for the hero play, but he goes splat.
I loved it though. The gusto, the idea, it straight up didn't work, but sometimes the face plants are as entertaining as the other things.
Shiyu could actually be relevant. Shiyu could actually have gold in his pockets, pick up enough items to where he can go toe-to-toe with Doran, hits level 20, and then Showmaker as well was constantly threatening, and there was never an angle for the Twisted Fate to pinch with Owner. He also likes to steal away the Nara ultimate and the Wukong ultimate and the Alistar ultimate, and the Sivir ultimate is also pretty good.
I was going to say, yeah, there's a lot of fantastic things you can do once you've used your Unbreakable Will, which is what's going to be happening here.
Faker played around that vision really well. He was like, you don't know where my Zahin is. I have a control word here, so you can chase me through that brush if you want. Now the Zahin's going to show up.
Yeah, there's a Petrifying Gaze, though, as Faker, he might just die as Showmaker doesn't have his flash. And Owner tries to make his way over. Another poison comes on through as Faker walks up, flashes away, and Owner should be able to finish this one off. Showmaker, though, does have to get the flash out for Owner to be able to pick up that kill. Man, that was close, as now Lucid looking for a little bit of an angle here as he gets over the wall, flashes on forward. Can he get the Owner? The answer's no! Too many knockups, and they outplay the monkey!
Lucid's face, Atlas! Oh, the ankle ankles were broken.
Oh, that is absolutely heartbreaking. Damn. Well,
That's the kind of moment where you're just like, I don't know, I gave it my all.
to be perfectly okay, he's dead again. And the problem is, like, I don't even think that's a tilter necessarily because it's so close, you know? And
Yeah.
it does not work.
When he goes for the miasma, then Faker's going to get the taunt, and so I mean, tries to sidestep like you said. As now we have chains.
Yeah, and there is no ulti available here for Korea. Good flash there from Pays as Smash just trying to do enough damage to stop them from killing his cow, as another couple of autos from Carrier will be required. Grand entrance to finish him off. That's a creative way to get a kill. And now Smash could be in a lot of trouble, although he's doing a fair bit of damage back. And sidestep, not quite enough there as Carrier looks for the angle, doesn't find it. Korea just dead. And now Doran looking to try and kill Lucid here as well. Gets that information, chains connect, and he picks up a Cyclone for himself as well. Now you've got Faker trying to move on in. Justice Punch does get interrupted by the Cyclone, and there's a Petrifying Gaze as Doran has to try and get out of there, but Lucid gets the extra range on the Q. And now Faker looking to try and turn this. Ona gets the pullback. My God, Ona Zahen is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, he's been putting the hours in for
Oh,
sure.
yes.
I'm watching this game.
That's why he's like,
wow.
no, you take this Silas away. I hate this champion. Give me my Zahen. You can play it, Doran.
That was pretty impressive stuff. He has had an incredible game here so far, as we're going to see the TP back to lane.
As we do have the Varus rotating up towards that top side. Lucid taking that as an opportunity to get a Drake.
And that's a big rotation up of Pays, who doesn't have his role quest completed just yet.
Yeah,
Smashes.
the rotation up, like they did that in the B&K series as well, and it meant that Pays was incredibly far behind on the quest.
Yeah, also Pays in the game where they made the rotation up in game 1, he had his role quest completed. He does not have it here just yet, so you were able to get the jump on Showmaker, for example. You got to kill Smash. You got to deal with Shiu. You only have one Silas ult at this point in the game, early on, as Doran. Speaking of Doran,
yeah, can he hop his way out of this one? This time doesn't get the extra bounce as the flash comes on in. Good knockback, Grim Deliverance, and the delivery is death. Down goes Shiu this time, and yeah, Ona's really good at that.
Owner is like, I'm sorry, Doran, this is why you have to play Silas in tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So beautifully done. We've got a bit of a tussle here as Faker's going to be moving in first. Headbutt out. Good Justice Punch, though, to avoid that as now Smash is in a lot of trouble. The quickness comes on through, but Carrier is a long way away from the rest of his team, but so is Lucid. And now Lucid is very, very dead. Yep.
There's a lot of ifs in this game for T1 as Faker.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
That was about the angle that he dodged it on his Riven back in the day.
Oh.
Beautifully done. Even though he didn't really dodge it, he just didn't move.
Put Showmaker into his grave, but this might be a bridge too far.
Well, Lucid is going to smite him, and there is a dead Faker. So that is a lot of money going over to Lucid. What did Faker mean by this? Has been thrown out here, as Faker is just going to have to walk it off. The Drake is what's on the minds of Dplus and T1 right now, as Ona already has it down to 34 health.
So they trade the dragons here, one apiece. It's Infernal Soul again.
Yeah, Lucid moving on in there, but this Rift Herald is down very low. Teleport does get Showmaker up there, as there is the Cyclone. Grim Deliverance comes on down. Rise is pretty good, as now Carrier just getting himself out of there. Justice Punch comes on through, but we have the Rift Herald taken here by Lucid, and now Faker is in no man's land. In the meantime, Smash just taking matters into his own hands. And so is Faker, actually. It's taking a long time for him to go down, as she will finally find the Hyper Proc, and down goes the Galio. That Lucid wastes no time, and they're going to put down the Rift Herald. Wolf, are you hearing it? Can you hear it,
I mean,
Wolf?
I was going to say that might have just been the game-losing moment for T1. They had no right to fight the way to fight that Herald with a setup they didn't have, frankly. I was going to say with the setup they had, they didn't really have one. And obviously with no teleport for the Galio, it takes Faker so long to get up there. That's a turret down here, and top turret's already gone. One plate left in the bottom lane. Can they punish Showmaker?
Yes, they can, as he's going to get pulled back. Carrier moving over. Lucid not going to be able to help. And the Snake goes down. And I want to apologize to Dplus fans, because last time we heard...
I thought perhaps instead of trying to chase the Rakan, they might have looked for the Galio in the bottom lane. But instead, not going to happen, as Shiu is like, I am better Gnar, actually.
Yeah, he just throws a house at Doran.
He has an Executioner's Calling, which is insane high value, into the Kingslayer.
7 stacks on the Rod of Ages. And so this Dragon DP should be going over to DK, as there is, like you say, the teleport coming on forward. Can they find a team fight, though, as Grim Deliverance kind of avoided here by DK? But the quickness is so good. Smash does avoid it, though. There is a decent Petrifying Cyclone's there from Lucid. Decoy buys a lot of space as Showmaker does not make it out. Finally, Carrier does fall down, as that is Sivir falling as well, and it's T1's turn to win a team fight.
And T1 only lose Carrier here, and they will be able to take out this mid turret. Dragon going over to Dplus in the meanwhile, but the gold here feels really nice to pick up for T1. As Pays?
Yeah, guess what's on the map.
Fine.
Yeah, Korea is here. When there's Carrier and Korea in the game, it does make my brain kind of hurt.
I'm going to start putting deep vision into your jungle. I'm going to let the Sivir rip through another wave in the mid lane. I'm going to let this Gnar push.
Well, chains are not going to connect, but the Gnar does. Xiu does have a blast cone as well, and so he can use that to get himself out of there. Sorry, Valdez.
In fights, especially in the melees, where the ricochet value is going to be insanely high.
Yeah.
I favor the position here of Dplus right now, especially because it's now Seoul Point that's on the cards for them. They're going to get a TP out of Doran here, and T1 have to rush over, and the timing is pretty thin.
Well, there's a Gnar onto Carrier, as Mega Gnar timing here pretty good for Xiu, but they're unable to actually finish him off. The Drake, though, it does go down as Doran gets the Unbreakable Will, but misses every other button, and now Korea is just being annoying where he can. He is going to die, but can the rest of them get out? That is the question. As Xiu, maybe the answer is no, as Showmaker trying to offer some damage back. The chains go wide, but Ona finds his, and Xiu is just going to fall. Steric's not enough, and so it is 2 in trade for Seoul Point.
So T1 get the gold lead again. Even if Dplus slows down, he can't get here without walking, and T1 are going to make that call. It's a tough one, but if they pilot this well, got the Alistar ult in tow.
It's going to take a while for it to go down as Chains of Corruption hits a decoy. Let's see whether Lucid can utilize that, as they do get the vision of this Baron. Doran looks for the angle once again, but doesn't find it. Petrifying Gaze doesn't hit much, as there is a heroic entrance from Faker just to try and get out, but it's Iron that falls down first. The Cyclone so good from Lucid, but he's still going to fall, and Doran is doing crazy things in the backline. Goes golden with the Zhonya's to buy a little bit of time before he inevitably does fall down, and Showmaker's Conqueror is getting so much value in this fight. It's absolutely ridiculous. Faker has to flash to get himself over that wall, but Korea's going in once again because somehow he has ulti back off cooldown. Smash grabs another kill as the Gargoyle falls, and the bane of T1 is the Baron this time around.
I think T1 had the same read on the game state that we did. This game was really slipping out of their hands, and they needed to make an aggressive call with no Gnar there.
But they are not afraid to keep trying, no matter how close to the wall they get. And here in this game number 4, they're looking to try and bring us to 5. This is their Seoul Point as they're looking to catch Faker in this mid lane. Heba Pulp to interrupt the taunt, and down he will go. He does go golden, buys a little bit of time, but Smash has delivered another kill. They'll crash the wave as well as be able to take another Infernal Soul this game. That was a huge moment, and I think a big turning point in this. As DK, 2,000 gold lead in Infernal Soul, that is massive.
T1 also, they don't know where the rest of Dplus are, so it's hard for them to collapse here.
But it looks like DK are going to look to try and start this fight off themselves as Carrier tries to hold themselves in position, but the heroic entrance only onto Lucid, and he doesn't really care. The Cyclone knocks off Faker, he goes golden, but it interrupts Ona there as well. Grim Deliverance doesn't do much. Faker's dead already. Baron is on Dplus this time as it takes down the Zahan, and now Doran tries to do it against Smash, but the flash is too good, and now it's Pays against the world, and unfortunately the world hits back this time.
And you know what, Atlas? You can make those super sound effects because we are going to 5.
Oh my goodness, DK, the one team that I did not think that would be capable to set up a reverse sweep, and they have done it. Nexus turrets in their sights, and they will bring us to a game 5 and look to see whether they can stamp a ticket to Hong Kong.
Absolute insanity and the greed in the drafts from T1. We called it out in game 1. We were like, this Yuumi draft is risky as hell. There's so many engage tools. Game 2, we're like, all right, T1, really feeling yourselves again. And what seemed certain before this series started, and what seemed certain after game 2, absolutely is completely up in the air now.
Yeah, and all I have to say is at least we're going to have ourselves a great POG state, because if it's after 5 games, you all know that we're not going to have... And so what does Buster Shot do? It just solves the cannon problem in one fell swoop. And so it's going to be so hard for Doran to find the value unless they get that ulti on cooldown.
It also has a pretty fun matchup into the...
It feels like DK actually got the read this time around. It was Lucid that did this on the Aatrox into, I believe, a Sejuani, as Faker is taking a lot of damage, but Owner is going to come out of the enemy jungle. That's a flash from Showmaker. I'm not sure about that one, and now he's just really dead. Oh, he gets the egg. There you go.
Okay. And I think they should be able to get it here. There's just no real way to close the gap for Dplus. Showmaker's TP, obviously his 2 lane isn't going to get him there any faster, and they didn't have bottom side prio, nor do they have those critical ults for the skirmishes. Handled it well, and now this Gwen has 3 grubs. So that's very good for Dplus. Also, the Tristana has 3 grubs. So side lane win cons I was talking about before, very strong here for Dplus, now significantly empowered.
Yeah, and actually, are these the first grubs that Dplus have been able to take so far this series? Sort of feels like to me. Is now Doran maybe in trouble. The nature is grasping as Xiu gets stunned up. Does he have the snips? The answer is yes. Lucid going to be the one to lock down that kill, as now we are 1 apiece between these 2 teams in Game 5. Going to be picked up here by T1.
The argument...
Give me the cloud. Give me the cloud. Ah, Mountain. Okay.
Mountain, okay. The argument for not going for the contest here for Dplus is just that they think they're going to have a little bit more scaling range damage here with this Tristana later on. They don't want to fight into this Kalista early, especially without setup there on the bottom side of the map. So they instead just index through top side.
Well, Needlework comes out yet again. It just kills him! Solo Molo for Xiu! And the entirety of this side of Lolpark, we're on the Dplus side, just erupted in the Xiu chant. That was very cool.
Very cool indeed.
Well, right now, Xiu is playing very respectfully. And so Carrier not exactly with a lot of opportunity.
This could work out, though. I think Shio's like, all right, I waited long enough.
Oh, in he goes. There's the slicing maelstrom. The needlework comes out yet again. Fate's Call not doing a whole lot as he's looking to try and wipe out Doran, but he's not able to do so. That is the punish, and T1 are looking to continue pushing.
Yeah, and Faker just goes straight to the bottom lane here.
Well, the Tridans can actually let us know exactly what's going on. Maybe I'll ask in the Pog State or something like that. Tune in to the next episode of the Pog State if you want to know about the Wheelhouse conversation once more.
Career is maybe thinking he can make a similar play to what Carrier just did, but there's a lot of deep vision. He cannot quite actually sneak his way over here to try to set a trap. Doesn't mean that much when you're like, well, I've got a 1 stack on my Rod of Ages, and I have my upgraded boots and a Dark Seal, and a fully stacked tier.
Yeah.
Whereas the Tristana's like, well, I still have a Kraken Slayer. I kind of actually can do a lot of damage in skirmishes and team fights, and I still kill turrets very quickly.
I do think the Dplus definitely need to fight for this one.
Absolutely.
They do have Lucid in position. He throws down the Rift Herald. Let's see whether he throws down the ulti here as well. Let's see how this one goes. There it is. Pop Blossom is going to be pushed away with the handshake, but Lucid gets in, steals away the dragon, and now Owner is trying to get himself out. Xiu running amok right in the middle of the fight, and the twisted advance, the bullet time, the combo from Dplus is too good, and Xiu gets those scissors out and makes them work. The bottom lane is cut into pieces. It's a triple for the Gwen, and another one for Smash as well. 2 on the floor for Dplus as well, but they get the steal, and they win the fight.
They win the fight in a massive way. And this was a dragon stolen by Lucid that brought them to their first of what could be potentially 3 for the reverse sweep. As Xiu is going to get ulted here.
Yeah, Faker is going to find the chain CC as well, and I don't think the Gwen is immune enough. Does have the needlework, but it's not enough. So Faker going to be grabbing his first kill of the game to augment his 50 CS lead.
However, there is Tristan up here. Okay, I thought we were going to see a heavier commitment from Career and that maybe they were going to try to trade for a turret.
They are in position. Doran with teleport that he did manage to get from his quest. It's up and available. As Xiu's in the back of this pit now. Teleport comes in. Showmaker is turning up as well. As Lucid,
it's a lot of sticks.
Try and keep this Gwen safe. As like you were saying, that is a lot of Ren stacks into this dragon. Let's see. Lucid now throws out the ulti. Can Owner get it? No, it's another steal! What the heck, Lucid? As once again, Xiu is now immune in the back of the pit. Not anymore, though, as he needs to slink back into the mist. Flashes over the wall. Highway robbery complete. They've got saplings. You can always scout out the area even if you don't have wards.
Found Doran.
Speaking of which, yeah, Doran is just going to blow up. He flashes in, but the buster shot! They're playing tennis with a cannon! What is this? Why isn't Wadid working today?
And
oh
that's
my
Dragon.
goodness, and now the Drake is going to be taken. That is triple Mountain soul point for DK.
And T1 just couldn't make a choice. They were like, all right, we either have to save Doran and try to play through that bottom side scrap, or we got a whole dragon. They did neither. Lucid didn't even have to ult. So he still has his ult here to now try to secure Baron, and T1 are a million miles away.
Oh my goodness, a DK doing it?
There's
Are they going to reverse T1 reverse sweep T1 out of the LCK Cup? Surely not. And not on the Baron, as Owner is going to rotate over. Like we were saying, that informational advantage is still there for DK though.
That Lucid ult.
As Owner, let's see whether he can get it done, as the Baron is smote away by Lucid, of course. Twisted advance to take down the Aatrox, and Smash is going to get flashed on by Faker. He will go down, but Carrier is going to explode as well. There are the resets for Showmaker, and he looks for another explosive charge. Man, he's drawn so many beads this game, and you can see that range is just kind of absurd. Rocket Jump going to come in, and he gets another charge, and down he goes to the egg. Korea gets the information, and they will be able to take him down. So Baron for DK, and they'll get the prize in all of these kills, and a 5,000 gold advantage.
And this is a Callista comp for T1. Getting back into this game is going to be nigh impossible, as Doran is also way up.
Oh dear. Showmaker doesn't have Buster Shot, so no tennis. As Lucid is like, come on man, are you hitting it back? And Showmaker's like, no, I'm tired. I can't do that. I'll just kill it instead. Yeah, he's level 17.
He's got the sniper item. He's ready to hit them hard.
Feels like a pretty fantastic third item as well, because once you buy it, your passive is stacked up so far that you get the full value. It feels very, very nice. As Lucid able to get into the tiny little window to break those chains. But the bullet time is just thrown out. Faker is just dead. Pop lost him under 2. Korea, you absolute madman. He's over the wall. And now it is Korea falling, but it's totally worth it this time around, as Doran, he comes in to try and save the play. The Slicing Maelstrom is pretty powerful. Everyone's golden, but DK are the most gold today, as Carrier walking back to the fountain, asking them to be gentle, and they're going to say absolutely not. Not today, because we are top 3 in the LCK Cup, as DK book a ticket to Hong Kong.
And